So we look at this, if you will, the natural course, the wild course of this disease. And the question comes up, is early intervention going to be useful to modify the natural course of this disease? Is there anything we do, short of giving, and I'll get to the drugs or a vaccine in a moment, but short of that, is there anything that medicine can do in terms of supportive care to alter the natural course of this disease?
One would hope that they do alter the natural course of the illness. The profound dehydration that they will be developing is easily reversed with IV fluids and electrolyte care, so that shock doesn't occur as a result of hypovolemia. That would be one of the cornerstones of management, is that type of supportive care. Medication to stop the vomiting, and attention to fluids and electrolytes, or medication to support blood pressure, all of the things you would do before its late phases of septic shock.
You treat somebody as you would with Ebola as you would anybody with septic shock.
else.
Right. I think what was of
Except
concern
for
to
the
me,
spacesuits.
except for the spacesuits, of concern to me was that the Propositus case 0 at Dallas, got to the hospital 3-4 days after the development of symptoms. He was already pretty sick, but presumably he got very good high-tech health care and died. So there is a component of this disease which will take you away on occasion, despite
All your best efforts.
your best efforts.
And that's right. There are some things that we can't cure or turn around, and they may have had a chance. I'm not saying that he would have lived had he been admitted the first go-round at that hospital, but sending him home didn't help him any.
I want to revisit some of the treatment options other than supportive care. Let's talk about ZMapp. Now, there's not a lot of it around, but it's an antibody drug which is particularly aimed at the attached sites, right, on the Ebola virus. Works in animals, but the animal models aren't people. We know that rodents don't act the same way with Ebola that people do, and simians are closer. Both of the people who got ZMapp survived. What do you think?
What I know about this drug, and that is very little other than what you've just said, is that it came from the private sector without government assistance. And, you know, if they're 2 for 2, well, does that prove anything? Hardly.
I think two, but I'm not sure it's proved.
Yeah, exactly. So there's little I can say about it. A drug in short supply that showed promise in 2 cases. What else can we say?
What other treatment options are there out there?
Passive immunity, antibodies from the survivor, like the doctor who did survive. He has his own natural antibodies, and he was given the ZMapp, so he's got a conglomeration of 2 different types of antibodies. I would imagine that there are going to be survivors who develop those neutralizing antibodies that will be useful, perhaps, to others with the same blood type.
Now, from a treatment standpoint, whether or not there's ZMapp, whether or not there's passive antibodies, just in terms of supportive care, right now, as we sit here today, is the United States adequately prepared for an influx of, let's say, dozens of cases of Ebola?
I would like to think that we are, but in reality, errors have been made even by the experts out there. And it wouldn't take much to break a containment when the index of suspicion isn't there. I won't say we're unprepared. I think we are learning more and more as the days go by. I believe that hospitals are now fully engaged in the process of protecting their healthcare workers by having the level 4 suits, the so-called space suits, and personal protective equipment that are so desperately needed, and ongoing educational campaigns and drills and practice and preparedness is truly the best way to go at this point if we're going to prevent the spread to hospital personnel.